Is free economy equal to capitalism? Dowry's Reasoning, Episode 1. To sort out a series of political and social issues is the mission of this podcast, which is named Dowry's Reasoning. It is never easy to prove the correctness of an idea, but by constantly overcoming irrational concepts, people have the opportunity to get closer to the truth continuously. The Dowry's Reasoning Forum often starts by questioning some widely accepted prejudices or misunderstandings. A common fallacy is that the name is not worthy of the content it is supposed to represent. Therefore, it is essential and critical to point out the discrepancies between the name and its meaning, wherever they appear. One example: is free economy equal to capitalism? Many people may regard this as a strange question, because both conservatives and the liberals think that free economics and capitalism mean the same thing. In fact, tracing back to their origins, this is not the case. Adam Smith of England in 18th century left behind a classic of political economics, The Wealth of Nations. From the perspective of a scientist, he objectively studied the economic phenomena and came up with three major economic laws. First, the law of self-interest. People work for their own benefit. Second, the law of competition. Free competition forces people to make quality products. Third, self-regulating mechanism of supply and demand. This is an invisible hand in economy. This is the gist of the liberal economics of Adam Smith. It is only natural to draw the conclusion that the government should intervene as little as possible in economic activities. There is no doubt that the private ownership of the means of production, accumulation of capital, and the pursuit of profits are important contents of Smith's economic theory. As this is a natural conclusion based on the first law above. Go to Google and you will find countless examples of people calling Adam Smith the father of capitalism. But a logical thinker would ask, can a theory that recognizes the importance of capital be necessarily called capitalism? In the more than 700 pages of The Wealth of Nations, there is not a single mention of capitalism or capitalist. The name capitalism was coined in 1850 by French socialist Louis Braun. Adam Smith died in 1790, and he never called his theory capitalism. But starting from Karl Marx, the term capitalism began to appear in large numbers. In the 3-volume of Marx' 1867 Das Kapital, it appears more than 2,600 times. So it can be said that the label capitalism was imposed on Adam Smith by those who opposed him. For a long time, capitalism and free economy have been widely used synonymously, which is actually inappropriate. By the way, in Chinese, ism literally stands for main meaning. The various viewpoints in person's theory and argument carry different weights. Some are unimportant, and some are important but have not risen to a dominant position. Capital plays an important role in Smith's political economy, but it has not risen to the height of major importance. This is concluded from the systematic discussion in the book, The Wealth of Nations itself. On many occasions, adding ism to the end of the word can bring negative connotations. For example, experience is valuable, but empiricism goes too far. Equality can be a reflection of fairness, but egalitarianism is the opposite. When it comes to the word capitalism, it has the flavor of seeking to own everything, and capital is the only purpose. Adam Smith's outlook on life and values also prove that his academic views were not based on financial gains. He was not only a great scientist, but also a moral philosopher. Smith's The Wealth of Nations was written in 1776, and as early as 1759, he wrote his immortal work, The Theory of Moral Sentiments, which emphasizes the principle of justice, mercy, prudence, and self-control. He respects the role of capital, but he does not worship it. Socialism and communism call the theory of free economy capitalism. This is a very clever move on their part. It creates a negative first impression on Adam's economic theory. With the label capitalism, communists can make a big fuss. They equate the recognition of personal interests with the extreme of profit only, and then completely deny the positive significance of capital. Hence the famous saying of Marx, "When capital comes to the world, blood and filth drip from every pore from head to toe." Hence the shouting of the slogan of the proletarian revolution, "The old world must be wiped out." As a result, there was a large group of people who were easily deceived, especially the young and the energetic, who followed and waved the flag without thinking through. From the label of capitalism to the slogan "Eliminate capitalism," to the justification of armed riots and dictatorship, human history has gone through more than 100 years of bloodshed. Without the label of capitalism at the beginning, it would be difficult to imagine how the big stick of proletarian revolution would have operated. To view from another angle, how did the West win the Cold War? Among the many reasons, an important political factor is that the West has shown the correct name and flag to represent itself. Although the so-called Eastern Bloc, headed by the former Soviet Union, had always called Western democratic societies the capitalist camp, Western countries did not fall into the trap of this rhetoric and have always correctly called themselves the free world. Reagan went further by condemning the Soviet Union as an evil empire. The West thus occupied the commanding heights of public opinion, and freedom finally defeated autocracy. If Adam Smith were alive in heaven, he would be proud and gratified at the fruitful results his free economic doctrine has produced in today's world. At the same time, he would also be surprised and regretful that he was given the title of a capitalist. it is about time for the conservative forces in the West to correct their thinking and rectify the name of Adam Smith's liberal economic theory.